So, is the Blackview Link 8 actually a hidden budget smartphone gem? Or is this one of those cheap phones that looks impressive online but becomes frustrating after a week of real use? Because honestly, budget phones in 2026 are getting weirdly competitive. Some are surprisingly good for the price, and others feel like they barely survived quality control. So today, we're taking an honest look at the Blackview Link 8, what it offers, where it cuts corners, and whether it's actually worth buying or if you should just save up for something better. Now, the Blackview Link 8 is positioned as an affordable smartphone designed for basic daily use. It focuses on offering a large display, decent battery life, modern Android features, and an attractive price point for people who don't want to spend a fortune on a phone. And honestly, first impressions aren't bad. The design looks more premium than I expected for a budget device. From a distance, it doesn't immediately scream cheap phone, which is honestly becoming common these days, because even low-cost phones are starting to look decent. The display is large enough for watching videos, browsing social media, and casual gaming. Colors are acceptable, brightness is okay indoors, and overall, it feels usable for normal everyday tasks. But now let's talk about the part that matters most with budget phones: performance. And honestly, this is where realistic expectations become very important. For basic tasks like messaging, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and light multitasking, the Blackview Link 8 seems perfectly manageable. Apps open reasonably well, and the phone doesn't immediately feel unusable. But if you start pushing it harder, heavier gaming, advanced multitasking, editing videos, or running demanding apps, you'll probably notice the limitations pretty quickly. And honestly, that's expected at this price range. One thing I do appreciate is battery life. Budget phones often prioritize efficiency over raw power, and the Link 8 seems capable of lasting through normal daily usage without constantly hunting for a charger. Now, camera quality. Let's just say it's fine. Not amazing, not terrible. In good lighting, photos look acceptable enough for social media or casual sharing. But once lighting conditions become difficult, image quality drops pretty fast. Night photography especially feels limited, which honestly isn't surprising for an affordable device. The speakers are also decent, but not mind-blowing. They get the job done for casual content consumption, but audiophiles are definitely not buying this phone for premium sound.
Now, moving into the pros and cons. Starting with the positives. The price is obviously the biggest advantage. If you simply need a functional smartphone without spending a huge amount of money, the Link 8 immediately becomes attractive. Battery life is respectable, the screen is large enough for entertainment, and the design looks more modern than some older budget phones. Another positive is simplicity. For users who mainly need calling, messaging, streaming, and light app usage, it can absolutely handle those basics. But now the downsides. Performance limitations are very real. This is not the kind of phone you buy for heavy gaming or demanding productivity tasks. Camera quality is acceptable at best, especially in low-light situations. Software updates and long-term support are also concerns with many smaller smartphone brands. That doesn't automatically make the phone bad, but it's something buyers should consider. And honestly, resale value on budget phones like this usually isn't great either. Now, I checked Reddit discussions and user feedback, because honestly, that's where people stop being polite about budget tech. A lot of users actually said the Blackview Link 8 performs surprisingly well for basic everyday use. Several people mentioned buying it as a backup phone, student phone, or affordable option for family members. Battery life also got positive comments fairly often. But there were definitely complaints too. Some users reported occasional lag during multitasking, while others mentioned software bugs or slower performance after installing many apps. A few Reddit users also questioned long-term durability and software support compared to bigger brands like Samsung or Xiaomi. And honestly, that criticism is fair. Budget phones often look great initially, but long-term experience matters just as much as first impressions. Another thing I noticed is that users who expected flagship-level performance were obviously disappointed. Meanwhile, people who bought it strictly as a budget daily use phone seemed much happier. So, overall, is the Blackview Link 8 worth buying? Honestly, if your expectations are realistic, it can actually make sense.
If you need an affordable smartphone for casual everyday tasks, basic entertainment, communication, or backup use, the Link 8 seems perfectly usable for the price. But if you care heavily about gaming, performance, or long-term software reliability, you'll probably want to spend more on a stronger alternative. At the end of the day, the Blackview Link 8 feels like one of those phones that succeeds by being good enough rather than impressive. And honestly, for budget buyers, sometimes good enough is exactly the point. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest reviews.